Welcome back to Magnificently Black. I'm your host, Courtney, and I have today with me, Jennifer, my co-host. We also have a special guest today. Please join us as we welcome Toya. Go ahead, tell us who you are.
Well, my name is Latoya Castro, and I have, I guess, given my title uh, as the community educator. I think that's
Mhm.
the nice little umbrella for who I am.
Yeah.
My educational focus is health and wellness, birth, and firearms.
Mhm, mhm. So I met Toya when I was in Burlington going to Gold's Gym. And like when I say she is heavy in the gym, heavy in the gym is all it is. Like she was one of the people that when I first started, I was just like, yo, you motivate me to actually continue to come to the gym because it's just like she's cool. She's like one of the coolest people. She had locks. We were like on the transition. I'm like, who does your hair? Like it's beautiful. Like hook me up. So that was
Yeah.
one of like the connections we had. So one thing I will say, all of us have locks again.
Yeah, Lock Nation, Lock Nation.
Yeah. So Toya, what makes you want to work out every day? Like what's some of the things that like motivates you to continue to do that?
Well, I've always, I would say, have been kind of on the holistic side of just life. And then when I kind of partner with health and wellness, it just really amazed me how our bodies work. And my own personal journey is what kind of inspired me also to even just go and be a trainer. Because I think it's hard as women to lose weight. I feel
Mhm.
like most trainers have never been overweight. They were athletes and they liked their life and now they train. And so I just felt like what I went on was a journey. And I know there was a lot of people that was along that journey that witnessed the journey, and you being one of those people. And so community is something that keeps me going. I teach now at Goals and at O2, and it is because that the people that witnessed my journey, it was like, when you gonna start training? When you gonna start teaching? And so now I'm a part of their journeys, and that means a lot to me. I'm always honored when people kind of trust me with being a part of whatever journey that is. And we have lots of conversations. And so the people really, really do, I guess, keep me motivated. And I got goals. And so that's another
Yeah.
thing that keeps me in the
Yeah.
gym. So.
That's great because I'm actually on that journey myself. I actually was just talking to Courtney earlier about I joined a 10-mile run that I'm supposed to do in April. So I've been running every day. But again, I still have to get down to a weight that is comfortable running outside because it's different running
Mhm.
outside than on the treadmill. But also again, that the eating habits is an issue for, for me growing up with pork and beef and eating all these other things. So just
Yeah.
I've been off meat for about a year and I've
That's
noticed
good.
a big difference in
That's
not
good.
eating meat. And it's easier for me to, loosen some of the belly fat, although it's still there. I'm still trying to get that belly fat gone, even with all the cardio that I'm doing, the belly fat is
And
still
see, that's
there.
why I say it's a lot. A lot of it has to
It's
do so much with science.
Yeah.
Like, because,
Mhm.
like, for example, when I started incorporating, I was working. Courtney know how hard I was working out in the gym. Scale would not move. It
Two
wasn't
twice a
until I
day.
started, right? Like, I would work
Wow.
out. I would do a class in the morning, and then at night, I'm like,
Mhm.
I go watch TV on the treadmill. I'll put a movie on the treadmill. But
Yeah.
it wasn't until I started doing intermittent fasting that I
Ah.
really learned how to work with my body, but I still
Mm-hmm.
had to do it a way where it was like sustainable. So
Mm-hmm.
like most people don't know, doing it 5 days a week is the same as doing it in 7 days a week. So that was
Yeah.
kind
Mm.
of what I did for like my week. So Sunday night starting my hours for Monday. And also, um, it was one more thing that's important about I didn't start at a particular time. I started from my last meal. So for me, if I like I said, if I came and worked out at night and I was hungry, I wasn't gonna sit there and be like, it's after 6 o'clock. I'm a grown woman. I'm hungry. I'm about to eat,
Yeah.
And so it was better for me to just eat something small,
Mhm.
and I would just start my 14 hours from that. And then I started making goals like don't be looking at the clock like 58, 59, ding, time to
That's
eat,
how we look, but that's how I be on the treadmill. Like when I used to be on the treadmill, I used to be like, bro, I got 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
2 minutes. Oh,
Hmm.
time to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
time is something
right,
serious.
right.
Yeah, it's been a challenge for me. I don't miss the meat. That's one thing that's amazing to me is that when I first started, it was really hard with the meat thing. But I think now I hate core exercises. That's just one thing. I just getting on the floor and doing core is just not my thing.
Well,
So
that's like you supposed to do that and everything. So, like I tell people, and
yeah,
see, this is why I say my general umbrella is education and preparation, because it's really through education that you really just really learn how to do things effectively and efficiently. So, if for example, I tell people, if I'm doing a bicep curl, my whole core is engaged in a bicep
Mhm.
curl because your back is
Yeah.
supposed to be activated, your arms are
Mhm.
supposed to be locked in, like you using your core. You don't have to get on the floor to use your core.
Right.
So education is really, really just important in preparation. So, I really gotta tell, especially women, I have to remind us that we are actually worth it. Like
Mm,
you're worth it. Like you are worth the sacrifice, you're worth the struggle. And I tell my
Mhm.
people, my students all the time, if it was easy, guess what? Everybody would be doing
Yeah,
it. So
that's right. That's
like
right.
right.
it's supposed to be a struggle. It's supposed to be something that you actually work for.
Mhm.
And I tell all my clients, you either want it or you don't. I'm not about
Yeah.
to play around with you. They're like, what you eat? What diet you? I'm like, I'm not playing this game with you. You know exactly how you supposed to eat. You know
Right.
what you're supposed to eat, what you're not supposed to eat. So
Mhm.
we're not gonna play this game. But I all will also say that the standard way that we have learned is not correct. And if it was, it would be working
It
for
work.
us. It
Mhm.
would be
Mhm.
working. The healthcare industry is $1 billion industry. Everybody's still walking around here obese and
Mm.
morbidly obese. Now it's children. Is
Yeah.
if before, when you look around, the majority of people are overweight. And now
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
the kids too. And so obviously what everybody's doing, like what they told to do, it ain't working. And so
Mhm.
with the fasting and what you learn to do is start listening to your body when your body's telling you to eat.
Mhm.
We're not supposed to be eating all. We're not supposed to be eating 1,000 times a day, even
Yeah.
if it's healthy food, because what happened is you're still thinking about food, and
Ooh,
that's
Mhm.
still
yeah.
a constant. Even if it's healthy food, what's my snack gonna be? What's my lunch gonna be?
Mhm.
What's my other snack gonna be? It drives you
Yeah.
crazy,
Right. Just
and
Yeah.
not writing it
so.
out. Little
Right. And
list.
that's ridiculous. That's
No
absolutely
list.
ridiculous. Because you can literally consume all the calories that you need in 8 hours. You can consume all
Okay.
the calories that you need in 6 hours. You can
Yeah.
consume all
That's
the calories
true.
that you need in 4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
So,
That is
it's
true.
not even about that. And your body is still working in the morning.
Mm.
That like everything they tell you to do is to keep you in this situation. Why do you think everybody got IBS? Because your
That's
stomach
why
don't
they
never got
say
no time to chill. You
that's
always
why
eating. Stop eating.
that's why
Stop
whenever like they talk
eating.
about when it comes to medical stuff, I'm like half of this stuff, if you actually research it, your body automatically fixes it. If you do
It fix
more
it.
natural
It fix
things,
Mm.
it.
your
Hello.
body will definitely fix itself and just
They're giving me lifelong
relax.
sentences. They're giving
Yeah.
me lifelong sentences. They told me I had hyperthyroidism, high blood pressure. They told me all this stuff. And with the
Yeah.
hyperthyroidism, she told me I was gonna be on medicine, had to have surgery, had to have
Oh
this, had to have
no.
that. And so I told her, give me 2 months. Give me 2 months.
Hmm.
I went
Yeah.
back in there in December. She said, I don't know what you did, but your numbers are normal. I said, I told
Yeah.
you. I
It
told
Yeah.
you. I
was.
told you.
And,
I
and
told you.
and that's
Yeah.
the thing
That.
is like once you start eating right and doing what as you said, you
Mhm.
doing what you're supposed to do, and and your
Yeah.
Right.
body knows, your body's going to be like, okay, you're good. Like your
Yeah.
levels are
Right.
going to
It
even
takes
out
14 days to start something, and then your
Yeah.
mhm,
body starts to fix
like
it.
a
And
habit, and it
so
just keeps
yeah,
going.
it does. And when it comes to your body, it's really just about setting the correct environment so that it can do what it need to do. So having people don't drink water You ask everybody. Everybody drinks so
There,
much
yeah,
water. Everybody,
yeah,
everybody drink.
Right.
Everybody drink so much water. That's the water from yesterday. You still walking around with
yeah,
that gallon from yesterday.
That
When you gonna
that
finish that
hot water,
gallon?
yeah.
Right,
all
hot
that
water.
backwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Right.
think? What do you think about the whole metabolism thing? Like when you turn 50, do you think your metabolism?
No.
No.
So once again, it's really, really honestly about learning how to work with your body. And number one, will not understand the importance of not eating so much all the
Mhm.
time, all the time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
science behind just like the fasting, it shows you like it really shows you how to work with your body. And then not only that, you have
Mhm.
your body, the food that you put into your body is supposed to be fuel. So what are you putting into your body? If you ain't eating
Mhm.
enough fruit and vegetables, what you think gonna happen? If you're not
Mm-hmm.
eating, like if you're not drinking no water, if every all you drink sucking down is Pepsi, what you think gonna
Oh,
happen?
yeah, right.
If you're not
Um,
hydrating those cells that's in your body to
Yeah.
rejuvenate to be
Right. You
new
have to give your
cells,
body what it needs.
right?
And but at the same time, you can eat all the fruit and vegetables in the world, all day long and still be lacking because of how they prepare our food. And so that's why I say education is important because you still have to do things like supplement. So one thing that I like to tell everybody, it does not matter what supplements you're taking. If you're looking for a supplement, put in the filter vegan and organic. That
Mhm.
usually
Mm,
gets out all the garbage because your body
Mhm.
needs food grade supplementation. So when you look at the back of stuff, it should say, I'm getting this from broccoli. I'm getting this from this. I'm getting this from that. And it should be stuff that you are familiar with. It can read
Yeah.
or herbs that you can look up and it say, well, this is another name for basil, or this is another name for
mhm.
that. So I
Turmeric.
tell everybody put in that filter for vegan or organic. So if you're taking a multivitamin, it doesn't matter if it's trash. If you're
Yeah.
taking an iron supplement, it don't matter if it's trash. That's why you keep going
Mhm.
back to the doctor. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. I had a client, always had low iron, always had low iron, right?
Mhm.
Always taking what they gave her. I was like, stop taking that garbage. Take you some Floridex. And
Mhm.
so she did what they told her to do the first part of her pregnancy. Her numbers went up like point 0.5. She did what I told her to take. In 2 weeks, it went up a whole point. She said, my number ain't never been this.
Hmm.
Period. Never.
Wow.
See,
Never.
the more you listen
Never.
to your body, the more you
Never.
know, the
Yeah.
more it grows. See,
Yeah.
that's why I
Right.
was like, when you think of like doing a doula, like what are some of the things? What made you want to be a doula? Or
So I was about to say that would be definitely be a good leeway into
Mhm.
talking about birth work. Um, so I actually everything that has to deal with birth work, I was led into.
Okay.
I am an educator at heart, and one of the things I have learned when it comes to is the importance of education. There's a lot of things that we do not know concerning birth.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that we just blindly go into the situation and say yes, and it's just not working well for us. We're dying in these spaces. And the question has to be why. So I lost one of my grandmothers in the birthing space.
Mhm.
She needed 4 pints of blood, but the hospital policy was 3 pints of blood, so they would only give her three, and they let my grandmother die. And so that was my maternal grandmother. On the other side, my father's mother, she was a birth worker, and we just happened to
Mhm.
have the same birthday. But all I remember
Mm.
growing up was her leaving to go take care of her white babies. That's what she would say. And so honestly, I never ever there was nothing that I wanted to do or plan. But I attended my first birth probably 17 years ago, and I will always just happen to find myself in birthing spaces. I would go, my friends would be having a baby. I would go and check on them, see how they doing. Next thing I got a leg in my arm. And everything that I did was instinctual and just came to me. I didn't know there was a word called doula. Um, I applied for a free training. I'm all about education. And that was about 5 years ago with this volunteer organization in Durham, I May. And it's kind of been history since then. I've been one of their lead doulas
I
since the
love it.
training. I was just telling my cousin the story where I was in Guatemala when I
Mm-hmm.
found out I got accepted into the training, and this lady in the street market, she kept trying to hand me this cloth, and I didn't want it. I didn't want to buy it, to the point where I was just like, give it to me. And when I got to like where I had Wi-Fi, that's where I learned I got into the doula program, and that's something that I use in my births. It's something
That's
that I
beautiful.
use in a birth rebozo. So yeah, I
Mhm.
was definitely led into birth work.
Well, every time when I see, so I'm gonna tell y'all this. On Instagram, you follow her on Instagram, like she will tell you, like, hey, this going on. It's a beautiful day, like births are taking place. And when I tell you I see stories like that, it just fills my heart because I'm just like, yo, like she's bringing life
Mhm.
into this world. Like,
Yeah.
definitely, I'd be like, yo, my heart is filled. So that's why when I was like, I'll ask you to be on the show, I'm like, yo, definitely got to. It's only right.
Birth is very, very beautiful. And
Hmm.
when it comes to that education piece, like if I don't ever when I talk to somebody that's pregnant and it like interviewing me or whatever, if I don't ever talk to their mom again, I want her to think differently about birth. Because everything that we've been told is a lie. Everything like that we've been taught strips away our power, and we hand it over. We do that with
Yeah.
everything. We do that with
Hmm.
our health. We go to the doctor. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. What you been eating for the last month? What you been doing for the last month? We just like turn it over versus saying we had the power. Just like we had the
Yeah.
power for our health, we had the power to birth babies. Like what was happening before we was at the hospital. So once again, when we're
Yeah.
educated about how we move. When I started studying in to be a midwife, one of the stories I read about was in Georgia. We went from having 20,000 granny midwives that look like us,
Mm.
them coming in and saying that we had to have a nurse to sign off to say that we could do this. We went from 20,000 to like 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a
Everything is by design. Everything
Mhm.
is by
you're
design.
right. You're
Everything.
right. It's
And
set for whoever it is they want to win. That's what it is. That's why I just be like,
well, no, it's a lot more than that. So when it comes to the medical side, one thing that okay, so on the medical side, I suggest people read Medical Apartheid.
okay.
Read it, listen to it, because it's so much deeper than that. We've always been their guinea pigs for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just money in a lot of things. So
Mhm.
yeah, a medical
Okay.
apartheid for the medical side, food politics for the food side.
Good.
Those are
Okay.
some things I would definitely listen to. Read it. They're long. I do audiobooks too,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh
definitely
yeah,
medical.
that's great.
Yeah,
See,
definitely.
we're
Hmm.
gonna make sure we put all of that information in too on the podcast, like in our little like
Yeah.
read about. We'll have her website, all of that. Definitely include. We want you to listen to her podcast because she's gonna be on this podcast more often. Or
Yeah.
and she might create her own. You never
Well, no,
know.
I'm not that creative. I need help. But
See,
I have a lot to say. I definitely have a lot to
see,
say just concerning us staying alive. I think that's my goal. I just want us to stay alive. We don't
hmm
Absolutely.
realize, we just don't realize the importance of just going back to the basics in all
Mhm.
things. So you say
Yeah.
you stop eating meat. Okay, do
Yeah.
you really think that like our elders was eating meat every meal? Do you think that they
hmm
was eating like all this stuff nonstop? It wasn't that we couldn't have these things. It was we were supposed to be over consumers of these things.
Yeah.
yeah,
So when it just really goes back to getting to the basics of all things, because we had culture, we have herbs, we got tinctures,
Yeah.
we got the remedies, we got all of that.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
that's
yeah.
why I always be like, as in my family, like older relatives are like, hey, you could do this natural, like put vinegar in this, you could do this. You don't need all of that. Just take some
Yeah.
turmeric, go to the grocery store, or you could get some. We used to get this stuff out the backyard. Like at my grandma's house, she used to have a garden,
Honestly,
and I'm like,
Yeah.
gardening is life. Like I love gardening. So that's
Yeah.
why when you
I
said,
just made I just made a post saying like where they saying offering less like plastic protein. Like, and
saw
they're like
that.
saying it with a straight face. They straight with a face. I'm like, people still listen to these clowns. Like, y'all still
No.
like, what else we need to do? What else we need to do? At some point, we just gotta really realize like where we are. You know what the agenda is. It's very real. It's written down. It's not hidden. It is
Mhm.
everything is written down.
Yeah.
So we just gotta make smarter choices. And I find people do with education. And that's
Yeah.
why I say I'm just huge on education. So even when it comes to birth, you like I understand the house is not the ideal place for everybody. It's the safest place, believe it or not. Home
Mm.
births are my favorite. They're beautiful.
Oh.
They're quick. They're like, man, listen, we don't realize all the trauma and drama stories that we hear, near death experiences, it's because of what they did. They talk so nonchalantly
Right.
about inductions. They talk so nonchalantly
Mhm.
about epidurals. But when you
Mhm.
are a doula and you have attended hundreds of births, and you can see, well, every time y'all do this, this happens. Then you
Yeah.
Right.
know this is not something that you all should be just taking lightly. And when you hear people's stories over and over again, and this is where it went left, it's when they get involved. It's when they get
Mhm.
involved.
Mhm.
They will ask you at 36 weeks, do you want to put a date on the calendar for an induction?
No.
And
Yeah.
No.
you have no
Uh-uh.
idea what your
Uh-uh.
body's gonna be ready to do. And women thinking like, okay, yeah, I can have my baby before Christmas. Sure.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
yeah, I can have my baby for my birthday. Or this time we have time to get ready for the summer. Yeah. Like,
Mm-mm.
no.
Yeah.
All the risks that they talk about, those risks are real. Those risks are
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very real. And
Yeah.
so I've seen women have to get hysterectomies, like to save their
Mhm.
life. Because if
Yeah.
they try to induce you and your body's not ready, you're
Mhm.
guaranteed to have a traumatic birth story. It's a
Yeah.
guarantee. And so we just have to
Yeah.
go into these spaces educated. And I'm not talking about no birth class from the hospital.
So
Mhm.
I have a
Yeah.
question. So you're a birth mom. So like what areas do you serve? Like is it just North Carolina or you
No, I travel.
okay?
Hey, I go where the money resides.
Okay. Where the money
No, I'm just
reside?
playing.
Where the money reside? Where the money reside? Where the money reside?
nah, honestly, I am like I have started talking to even with my volunteer organization. They've hired me on, but I want to do classes. I want us to know about this information. I've supported moms in DC. Like we work it out. Like we work things out. So right now I'm in North Carolina. Of course my most of my clientele is in the Triangle, Triad, and around. But you know, I'm about to work. I'm about the birth
Love it.
work.
Love it.
So
Yeah.
Love it.
I have a question though about that. Do you ever run into complications when you're doing that? Because I know a lot of times when you go to the hospital, you end up having complications when you're doing
mhm,
the birth, and immediately they want to take you in for the C-section. Do you
right.
find when you're doing the births at home that there's no complications at all?
Well, it's not well, and then the data shows that you have because complications at home equal transfers to the hospital. And what
Mm-hmm.
you see is there's a very low transfer rate
Mhm.
but it also depends on like the whole care. So like right now, so okay, I want people to know options because that's what they don't know. Most
Yeah.
women go and get them an OB. So first of all, if you want to have a hospital birth, you need to find you a midwife that births at a hospital. So
Mm-hmm.
do
Mhm.
not just go with an OB because the
Mm-hmm.
OB is going to take you a straight medical route. They're going to look at numbers and they're going to take you straight medical. So you have a fighting chance if you at least have a midwife at a
Yeah.
hospital. So,
Okay.
and then there's also birth centers. Ours is closed locally, but other states have birth centers. And so that is a home-like experience with a midwife present. So you
Mhm.
still have the midwife there, but it looks like you kind of rented a studio apartment kind of deal. And
Okay.
so, like, you could go there and you can birth. And a lot of women, after they had their babies, and mom is good, baby is good, they go home. So they're home
Mm.
that like probably 4 to 6 hours after having a baby,
Yeah,
if they
that's great.
choose. If they choose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have birth centers, and then you have, of course, home births. And
Mhm.
so home births, you have midwives that service the home, and you have some women that choose to do it unassisted. So I have supported women who do unassisted as a doula, and that means that that's just me and the family there. So there is
Mhm.
no medical professionals there, and it takes an extensive amount of preparation and education. Or
Yeah.
you can have a midwife, but there's levels of midwives, and I just want to have this recorded because people can play this back and understand they got
Right.
options. Because that's what people don't know. They don't know
Yeah.
about the
Mhm.
options. So with
Mhm.
midwives, you have a CNM, that's a nurse midwife. They went to nursing school, and they can also work in
Mhm.
the hospital. So those are the ones that can work at a hospital, or they can choose to work at home. So you
Okay.
have those. Then you have what's called a CPM, which is a professional midwife. They might apprentice. Did
Mm.
not go to nursing school, but they have a checklist that they check off, and then they take a test. And then by passing the test say, yeah, they know what they need to know. But you have to pretty much study under somebody. And then you
Okay.
have a traditional midwife. A traditional midwife, that does not mean that they had an education, does not have an education. That just means that they haven't played the game, kind of deal.
Mm.
So
Okay.
they learn through apprenticeship. They can go to school. All this is free information. It's free information. It's just
Mhm.
about whether they check off the information. So me personally, I do birth work. So I'm a birth doula. I do practice as a traditional midwife. I've started
Mm.
that journey as well. And so I like being in control of that total care because my moms know you need to eat right, you can only
Mhm.
gain a certain amount of weight. Like all of these things, you have to set yourself up for success. Women get pregnant, they start talking about they eating for two, and that baby is the size of a pea, poking their stomach out. I'm like, you just happy you don't gotta hold your stomach in no more,
Right.
sis.
It just
No,
started. Chill out.
no,
Hold on.
sis, no. That baby is the size of a dime. Stop, stop,
Yes.
stop. So we really had to, we as women, we had to do better for setting
Mhm.
ourselves up for success when it
Mhm.
comes to the birthing space. So that goes back to that preparation piece. I know I talked a lot
I
about that,
love
but it's
that.
really
No,
important to me.
Yeah.
It's really,
that
really important.
definitely. That's what I was about to say. The preparation piece is where it all starts. So that's something that needs to be reiterated is preparation. You have to be prepared before you start. So definitely. This is
Well, and I liken it to like a marathon. Like a lot
mm,
of women show up for birth completely unprepared. And then when they have all of these stories, they want to blame it on birth. No, that's not what birth is. Birth is, listen, I've had women have babies and not say a word. Like birth is like
oh
not a
man.
sound. I had a woman, her head was literally on her husband's shoulder. And I caught the baby, and the baby started crying. And he was like, "The baby out." He did not know the baby was born, and
Oh
her
Oh
head
no.
was on
man.
his shoulder. Birth is
Oh,
absolutely beautiful. Birth is
it
beautiful.
is. Yeah. Mm.
So you have to set
Mm,
yourself up for success. Nobody shows up for a marathon saying, "I watch videos of a marathon. I watch videos of
yeah,
people doing a marathon." You actually got to
Mm-mm.
prepare for that marathon.
You do,
definitely.
which is what I'm trying to do now. So it's definitely preparation.
Well, you better hit me up then.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
I will. I'm definitely going to take the information down because I'm working hard, but I know that there's some things that I need to do, some other things that I need to do that I'm not educated enough. Like you said, I don't have the
Mhm.
information that I need to uh, be successful in it, but I'm trying. So, but
That's why I
I'm
said
definitely going to
like
jump.
a lot of times like you can use the apps and stuff too, but also having somebody there for that preparation
Mhm.
for that education can help because they can actually tell you like, hey, this is a better app to use or this
Well,
is a
no,
better
you
way to
need a
actually keep
doula. You
track.
need a doula
Oh yeah.
because we have seen it's about the experience. It's
Okay.
like when you, for example, when you see stuff when they do this, this happens. You're not
Mhm.
gonna know that from an app. I know that because I've seen hundreds of birds, so I can tell
Yeah.
you don't do that because this is gonna happen. And it's up to you whether you listen to that or not. So it's really the experience and kind of just the wisdom of what birth actually is.
Mhm.
But that kind of lead us into the next thing about just keeping us alive with the firearms. Because I want us that's another thing where we just be miseducated on. Like
You're right.
these churches that here got us walking around here thinking that God gonna fight our battles. And I be having to tell them people, like, I don't know what Bible y'all read. David did not show up for no dance battle. He bought bullets. He bought bullets, and he only needed one.
That's what I said. Y'all sign up for her. She
Yeah.
show you the lessons and everything.
Well,
Mhm.
we just have gotten,
Yeah.
we've gotten real fearful of just protecting ourselves. Once
Mhm.
again, something that we
Definitely.
handing over. And it's really about the education and preparation. We buy
Yeah.
firearms, we leave it in the stand, we leave it in the safe, don't know the code, can't even, don't know where the
Mhm.
key is. And it's like, what you gonna
Mhm.
do with that? No, we have to go to the range. You have
Yeah.
to take classes. You have
Mhm.
to really try. That's use. That's gonna save your life. That's gonna save
Mhm.
your life. And so it's in all things. It's just about education and preparation. You need to know the laws. You need to know what laws apply to us because
Yeah.
all so stuff work for them that don't work for us.
Right,
Hello.
right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know that we can
Right.
carry like they carry. If we carry and we may have some problems. So definitely have
Mhm.
to have the education on that, or otherwise we're gonna find ourselves in a bind.
But I just don't want us to be fearful of
Yeah,
because
Caring.
we do have the right to protect
Yeah.
ourselves. That's why
absolutely.
my business is right to protect because we got the right to protect ourselves. We
Hmm.
just need to know
Mhm.
like the laws. We got to be comfortable. It's a piece of metal. It does nothing. It does nothing unless you touch it and pull the trigger. Like
Yeah.
it is a machine. It needs you to do anything. And so
Hmm.
we just have to get over that fear and really and take them. Man, listen, people. I have some people in class. At the beginning of class, they be like, "I ain't never used the." I'm like, why are you whispering? Why are you whispering? It's not a bad word. I said, watch, she gonna be the one I can't. I'm gonna have to pull off the range, and them to be
Mhm.
the one girl. I'm walking up her after the first 10 rounds. She's like, please be some more in here. Please be some more. I said, oh, you like
She
it,
ready.
don't
She
you?
ready.
You
She ready.
like it, don't you? Well, and then another thing too, I know that a lot of women they go to the range with men, and that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Because a man, they got egos and they gonna put the biggest firearm that they have in your hand. And so if a woman go out there and the first thing she shot is a 9 or a 40 or something like that, that thing gonna jump out your hand. And so
Yeah.
for women, the perfect one to start with is a 22.
20,
Every woman
22.
needs a
Yeah,
22.
Me too.
That's what you
yeah.
train on. That's what you learn on.
Mhm.
That's what you go to the range ammo cheat. That's what you go and practice your breathing, finding your
22.
sight. A 22. What I
All
got
right.
for my conceal is a
Mhm.
380. Oh, my girlfriend not gonna miss.
Oh
But
no.
when I go to train, it's the 22 that I'm spending my time with. And so that every woman needs a 22, like period.
Mhm.
Period. And that's what
Love
you're
that.
supposed to spend. But every man, I promise you, if you go to the range with a man, they put a 9 in your hand or
You're gonna be
a
like, oh
40 or a 45. You like, boom, boy. You like, I don't want that no. Put that down. I
yeah.
don't want that no more.
And it makes you
Nah.
scared because you're not educated. Because it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's the biggest thing I would say when it comes to women. So
Okay.
So when you comes to like firearms, how often do you have your classes? Is it something that you
so I was doing the monthly. I'm trying to find a
Mhm.
new spot actually. I need a new spot so
Okay.
I can really get them back on consistently. So currently I am trying to find a new place where I can do the qualifying and shooting. I could do the educational stuff anywhere. It's the
Hmm.
shooting piece. So I'm currently looking for a second option because my
Okay.
first one is kind of tied up.
Okay,
Mm.
cool, cool. Look, and especially since the weather getting good,
Yes,
definitely.
brat, 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 brat.
Like y'all get the education part of it, come out,
Yeah.
get your concealed carry, and then like she said, want to make sure you're educated enough so you know, put that thing away when you need to, but know what your information is to get it out.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I love this. This was fun. I
It
like
was
this.
fun. It's a lot of good information, things that
Mhm.
wouldn't have thought about before. So this is great. We loved having you on here. This is good
Well,
stuff.
I was hoping that I definitely would just kind of leave people with things to kind of take away,
Okay.
and I hope I have done that. But
Definitely.
education, like That's definitely gonna keep us safe and
Mhm.
alive, whether it's your health. Like we just really gotta take back that power.
Yeah.
Take take it back. We are intelligent. Our body is
Yeah.
intelligent. Like we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like we gotta believe all of that
Yeah.
and really kind of just take back because we gotta remember who's telling us all these other things. They the
Mm.
experts in everything
Yeah.
but ain't
Mhm.
done nothing. They're the experts in everything, but ain't done nothing. We took care of their babies.
Yeah.
Be
We
like they
birthed
feel
their
money.
babies. We grew the
Money, that's it.
food. We did all of that. But whose face is on all the books?
Hmm.
Who the doctors? Who we got to
Yep.
get signed? Yeah, so we just got to realize our answers are in books.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. And let me
Reading is
tell you,
definitely
you'll feel so
knowledge.
much better if you take that journey and educate yourself and know what you need to eat. You'll feel so much better.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I'm living proof because I'm feeling so much better and changing my diet. Just that
Mhm.
one thing.
Oh, well, I
Okay.
definitely appreciate the time and the
Thank
opportunity.
you. So thank you
Great.
for joining us tonight on this episode. This is gonna be on Spotify. It's also gonna be on YouTube and Apple, and we're gonna make sure we include everybody's information. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, part of the family. Have a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, have
Bye.
myself. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. We hope that today's episode inspired you to continue to be the best version of yourself and remind yourself that you are magnificently Black. Everything Black is beautiful. Until next time.